Taylor Stocker. I'm here on behalf of Nerve Radio to interview Helen Jane Long and Russell Watson about their new single, Unremembered. So you guys released the single last Friday, um, and then you released Shine back in December, am I right, with the album?
Yeah.
So what made you want to re-release the single with a more of like an electric mix?
Well, we were always going to do sort of different styles for it, but we released it what they call a soft release. So the album comes out, and then it was interesting to have the original album stuff, which was more acoustic. It was just with the strings. It was Russell's voice, and then to have some fun and play with the electric sounds with drums. We have Ralph Salmons, who's an incredible drummer. We have Don Richardson on bass and Justin Quinn on the guitars, so that you get to feel it in a different way. And we have our music animation video, which is there's a sneak preview currently out on YouTube, but we have the full length version that's coming out beginning of May.
No, I've seen that. It's really beautiful.
So it's just having fun. The whole album really is about having fun. It's it's serious, but in a way that touches on sort of things that we've all experienced in our life. Unremember really is about sort of past and present things that you've gone through in your life. Sort of that sort of light-hearted reflection on things that happened in the past that maybe weren't so good, have made you upset. But then with a bit of time and life moves on, you can look back and think, well, I wouldn't be the person I am now if that hadn't happened.
Amazing. Well, I also have to ask, how did you guys meet? Like, what made you write the song? Was this the first one? I'm pretty sure you guys met during your Christmas song, you?
Well, it started off in 2001, actually. I was watching Star Trek Enterprise on the TV, and the theme was sung by somebody, and it literally stopped me in the tracks. The voice was incredible. So I waited for the credits to roll, and it was Russell Watson, but not in the classical way that he was singing at the time. It was a much more kind of this croaky, sort of husky pop voice, which I never heard him do. So roll on another 23, 24 years. I'd written a Christmas song. I was talking to my audio engineer in the recording studio about it and how much I still loved Russell's voice. And he said, I'm seeing him this weekend. We're working together. Do you want me to introduce you? So it's like, yes.
Sounds like it was just
Yep.
meant to be.
Well, I met Simon Kamen, who was doing the front of house sound at one of my concerts, and he came to me and being honest, he said to me, "Have you ever heard of a writer called Helen Jane Long?" And I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, she did. She worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. She's done the Mercedes-Benz F1 theme tune. She did the theme tune for British Airways." There was this list that went on. And I said, "I have to meet this woman now." And we got together. Helen brought along a couple of demos, piano demos. And I listened and I sang. And I really loved them. I really loved them. And that was it, really. A couple of weeks later, I got a call from Helen saying, "I've got another song. Have a listen to this one." So I had a listen, and I loved that. And before we knew it, we had an album. So off we toddled to the legendary Abbey Road Studios, and that was where we recorded the album. I mean, if you're not enthused by walking through the doors of Abbey Road Studios, as you walk down the wall of fame and you see the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and David Bowie hanging on the wall, then you're never going to feel inspired by anything.
It sounds like you guys had the best time recording, especially at Abbey Road Studios. I'm got to say, I'm quite jealous.
The interesting thing was, it's funny because the best times were sort of before we went into Abbey Road. I think Abbey Road was the point where it all got very serious.
Mhm.
All the musicians had been arranged, everything was done. We were in there, and then you're at the mic. You've got production there, and it's down to business then. The fun came before, and the fun very much is afterwards. But in the recording studio, for me, that's where that's my workshop, and that's where the business starts. The spirit in which the record was made overall was just incredible, and you can hear that right throughout the record.
Do you think there was a moment when you were in the studio where you're like, yeah, we've got a hit song here, like we've got a hit album as well?
As soon as from the moment I first heard Shine, which is the title track on the album, that was the point where I thought, yeah, this is a great song. This could be a hit. And there's a few on there that real stand out. I mean, there's a song on there which is what I'd call like a pop ballad called Waiting. It's the deeper bottom end bass baritone area of my voice, and I think that's a hit in the making. I think someone's going to pick that up at some point. It's going to end up on something. Such a great song and such emotive lyrics as well. It's brilliant.
Amazing. Did you guys have any like creative differences when they like producing the songs?
Yes, she likes donuts, and I prefer currant buns.
It's true. No, we didn't, because
No.
What Russell's good at, I stay away from the same with my side. We, you know your strength, and it would be silly for me to go, Russell, sing like this and do it like that, because that's not what I do. And the same for him. So we both had sort of flexibility and the freedom to be ourselves, but kind of joined together with what we knew and what we did best. And I think that's what worked.
I think, Helen came up with an idea or a suggestion, and I said yes. So there was no complications.
Yeah, as long as he always says yes, everything's really fine.
Yeah, if I say no, that's where the problems could start. But thankfully, I know I've heard about Helen's reputation, and I've not said no yet.
Fair enough. Well, it sounds like you guys are just meant to work together and write the album that you have. I've seen the illustration of the birds for Unremember. When you were writing the song, did you like picture like a soundtrack in your head? Like, was that what you pictured, or has that come on after releasing the song?
No, that's again every song that we have on there, and the same with Shine. There's an animation associated to that, but it tells a story, and I think I really miss the days where people released a song and a music video to go with it. So it's like a double story. So and Russell's got a crazy rescue farm. He's got a lot of animals, so it was a lot of fun to incorporate that into animation. So the story and the concept is something that we've again created from the ground up. I'm terrible at art, so I have an amazing artist and animator that you take to. I do a storyboard, and then we send it to him, and then he kind of brings it to life properly. But I love stories. I think there's not enough of that stuff, and it's a bit of like fun. Life can be very serious, so I think you have to find the funny when you can.
But I think those that video in particular, it leaves things open to interpretation. There's no definite message in there, and I think that's good because when you're listening to something or watching something subjectively, you want to forge your own opinions about them. You don't want something, a message pushing in your face, and I think that's what this does. Because I think for everybody, independently, there's a different message within the context. Certainly of Unremember, I've spoke to a lot of different people, and everyone said, "Oh, you know what? This makes me think of my dad," or "This makes me think of when one of my relationships broke down." Everyone's got a different view, a subjective view of the music, and I think that's really good. You don't want to spoil that with kind of being too definitive about what the message of the video and the song is initially.
No, I think it's nice to feel what you feel rather than somebody tell you, and this is a song about this. It kind of ruins your own kind of emotions that you can sort of stamp on a song and feel about it. So I've always been quite careful about that because I want people to make their own thoughts and feelings.
Well, my next question was, what did you want your listeners to take away? And I think you've sort of explained it yourself, that it's everyone's own interpretation. I think you get one thing from just listening to a song, watching the video with it. I sort of was like, oh, okay, I could see things differently.
Yeah, it's down to personal interpretation, and I think that's a good thing, because music, in my opinion, is one of the biggest catalysts for generating memories in human beings. Doesn't matter where you are, if you're walking down the street with your dog and you've got your headphones in and a certain song comes on the radio or whatever, and all of a sudden catalyzes a memory of maybe a certain moment in your life. It could be a poignant moment. It could be the loss of someone that you've loved dearly. It could be anything. But those memories come back through the medium of the music and the specific song that you're listening to. It's an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm. And also, this is the first time with Russell that he's had an album that's been written specifically for him. I didn't have songs, Russell, sing these. No, it was created together for him rather than just being a song, would you sing this? I think that's been a nice experience. So I think it is for him.
Was that you singing then when you went, Russell, sing these?
Did you like that? I was just kind of...
Yeah, it's sort of like your interpretation of a classical singer.
competition just to see if you like my.
Russell, sing these.
Russell's had to hear my.
Thank you, Helen. Pass them to me right now.
Mute. Mute.
You'll never get rid of me. I'm in your ear forever.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a great time creating anything together. So with the song, Russell, your vocals were quite like emotional in it. Did you go to a certain place to get that emotion across in the song?
Yeah, I went right within the context of the lyrics and the music, and it was easy to do because it's so powerful. I mean, there's a song in there on the album called "Waiting," in particular, which really resonated with me in a specific time frame in my life. And I had to do a few passages of that because whilst I was singing it, I was getting really emotional about the context of it. And I think you have to have that connection with. I mean, Shine was, the title track of the album. It's a happy, uplifting, vibrant piece of music. So there were no tears whilst I was singing that. Quite the opposite. But again, the music, the key of the music, the musicianship, the backing vocals, everything generates those feelings.
Mhm.
And it was just fantastic. It was great. It was brilliant to be in the studio and singing that repertoire.
That sounds amazing. Have you guys, since the single's release, have you guys had any like reactions from fans about the song?
That's been massive. The
Yeah.
feedback is absolutely incredible. I think also a lot of people aren't used to hearing Russell sing this way, so they can't believe that's his voice. And it's a happy surprise to be that versatile in how you sing. But yeah, the messages and the feedback has just blown us away. It really has. And how it connects with people, that you get people telling you not just they love it, why they love it, what it means to them, what it's made them feel, what it's kind of connected. And it's kind of gone crazy viral where people are sharing things with each other. So the Shine track, if there's somebody in your life, to recognize people that are there through your bad times, you're finding people are sending it to each other. This is for you, mum. This is for you. And they're friends. And that's been really lovely.
No, when I listened to Shine, I was like, okay, I know exactly where I am in this song. I even sent it to one of my friends. She was like, oh, I really needed this. So it was just kind of like the perfect song.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So what is next for you guys? Russell, I know that you're going on tour in October. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, very excited. Big tour, big national tour in most of the major cities in the UK with AEG, and that's celebrating the release of the very first album, The Voice, 25 years on. Hoping that Helen's going to join me on stage for a couple of those shows as well. We'll pick some special ones out for her, and that'd be nice. It'll be great to kind of, get on stage and start doing this stuff live.
Yeah.
I've got a cross section of material over the years that I've generated myself. So obviously we'll be celebrating, all that, all the kind of the back catalogue that I've got, some of my favourites and some fan favourites. But, just as important, we'll be showcasing some of the new stuff as well. And I can't wait to hear it live. It's really exciting to think that the thought of, doing this stuff. I mean, I can't wait to hear Shine.
Yeah.
And for me as well, waiting. I just can't wait to sing those live. It's going to be fabulous.
I think you can hear something online, or you play a CD or vinyl, but to then see an artist live performing it, and it always sounds different. It can't not sound different, but it's a different. I think that's what elevates music and sort of kind of it's a wonderful experience.
Definitely, I think seeing any of your guys' songs live, because they're so emotional, actually watching it will just create even better emotions from the song. And everyone wants to hear live music because I think it's just 10 times better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the great thing about live music is it's millisecond to millisecond. It's happening right in front of your face. It's not something where you can rewind the track and listen to it again. It's there, you're there. The sound is bigger than you get on a set of, headphones in your ears or a hi-fi at home. The sound's bigger. It's all it's enveloping. It's a different beast altogether. Live performance, and for me, that's where it's at.
It's immersive.
Amen.
Amazing. And Helen, what's next for you? I know you're going on a couple of shows with Russell, but can we see any more of you composing?
Absolutely, yeah. I carry on. I've got lots of composing to do this year, which is exciting. Some new projects, which are quite wonderful. I'm touring the States next year. I would have probably toured this year, but I've kind of delayed because of my doing this lovely project with Russell. So I'll be in America next year. I do a show every year in London, a Christmas show, so that's booked in 6th of December. I'll be doing that one. But yeah, just more writing and more of this stuff that I absolutely love doing, and more with Russell.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear what you guys do next. I've just got one more question left for you guys. So we're obviously student radio here and now. And we all wanting to break into the industry some way or another. What is your guys' like one bit of advice for any artist that wants to break into the industry at the moment?
You're gonna hear the word no on lots of occasions. And you have to accept that. I mean, I spent 10 years in the working men's clubs becoming an overnight star. I remember reading in a newspaper article right at the very start of my career in 2000. And don't forget, 10 years before that, I've been treading the boards, in front of 50 to 100 people in the clubs. And it read, big double page spread, and it read, overnight success, Russell Watson. I remember thinking to myself, blimey, that was a long night. In the music industry, you have to have a good work ethic because nothing comes for free. And you're going to get told no on so many different occasions. It's unbelievable. And if it does come quick, if it does happen quickly and it catalyzes really quickly, more often than not, it's transient. I think the ones that have worked really hard, Helen and I are both in this boat, where we've worked really hard to achieve what we've got, trod the boards, worked hard, and got to where we wanted to get. Had to make the cups of tea and do all the right things at the right times. It gives you a much bigger appreciation of what you've achieved. And the one thing I would say is attaining success in relative terms is easy. Sustaining success is very, very different beast altogether, and that's where it's at. And I remember the release of my first album, and then that point where I'm thinking, oh my god, I've got the second album. And all of a sudden, there was no pressure with the first one because no one was expecting, we're expecting it to do okay, and it flew out of the box. It was 1 million copies, and all of a sudden it's like, well, now we need to do that again, and then the pressure's on. My only advice I can give is stay with it. You're going to get no. Stay with it. Keep following the dream.
I completely agree with Russell. And the no, I have folders full of no's. And, you've got to see no as a maybe. Never see it as a no. And you just got to keep working hard. We still work hard now. You don't sit back. We love to work, but you have to just keep going. And I think, there's a general rule of 10,000 hours is the amount of time it takes to get, what you want to do. But it's true, there's no such thing as what I call sustainable overnight success. You graft and you appreciate you and you're kind to people, but keep going and just be honest with yourself and be passionate for yourself. And if other people are around, I'm sure Russell had it too, which is they'll never make it, they'll never do it, it'll never happen. Just ignore that, zone it all out. And as long as you're working as hard as you can and you are putting the effort in, you'll be fine, but you just have to keep going.
Amazing. I think that's both great advice. Just hard work, keep going.
Yeah.
It'll all pay off in the end.
It will. Always does. Always does.
Amazing. Well, that's all the questions I've got for you today. So thank you for speaking to me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
no worries. And
great
good luck
interview.
with
Thanks for your time.
Good luck with the tour and the composing and everything else this year.